This is Impact Play with Dr. J, where sports, entertainment, philanthropy, and purpose meet. I'm your host, Dr. J, and every story here is about using your platform to create real change. Stick around and let's get into it. All right, welcome to Impact Play with Dr. J, where sports, entertainment, and purpose collide. I am your host, Dr. Francesca Jones, but you could call me Dr. J. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about a homecoming story that shows us how full circle moments can really create lifelong impact. And so from playing at Ohio State to competing in the NFL and now coaching the next generation in his hometown, Coach Doran Grant is using every chapter of his life to inspire and mentor the next generation and leading them with purpose. So currently, he is a coach at St. Vincent St. Mary's High School in Akron, and he is providing he's really proving that real success doesn't really start by your statistics, but what you give back by what you've done and what you've made. And so, Coach Grant, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a great intro. Appreciate that.
I try to make sure I give people their flowers while they're here.
Right.
So everybody that comes on the show, I do like a quick warm-up so listeners get to know a little bit more about you.
All right.
So these are like quick, off-the-dome type questions. So let's go with the favorite memory wearing a Buckeye jersey.
Okay, favorite memory wearing a Buckeye jersey. It's a lot of great ones.
I'm thinking of one.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll be honest. The first one that came to mind was 2013 win versus Michigan at Michigan.
Okay, tell us why.
It was a close game. Went down to the wire. If I'm not mistaken, was it overtime? I can't remember if it was overtime or not. But we won, but it was in the 40s, 42-41. And they were going for a touchdown. And really at the goal line, Devin Gardner was their quarterback, and then he let it rip, and then Tyvis Powell stepped in front of it. I had him bracketed on the outside, and Tyvis stepped in front and sealed the game winner, and that was a great win.
Tyvis, local favorite.
Definitely, that's my guy.
That's what's up.
Tyvis Powell.
I always thought you went for, when y'all won the championship,
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, of course. But I'm going to be honest, like, how that game unfolded, like, after halftime, we, like, literally after the second series of the third quarter, we knew we had that. We had it.
Yeah.
But that Michigan game, it took us down to the last throw. And you win it against a rival like that away on the road. And it was my birthday.
What?
Yeah, I just thought about that. Yeah, it was November 30th, me and Braxton's birthday, actually.
Oh, so y'all birthday twins.
Yeah, birthday twins.
That's so funny. All right, so what pregame ritual hasn't left you?
Listening to Michael Jackson before the game.
You still do that?
I still do it.
Is there a particular album?
It's a mix. It's a mix between Jackson 5 stuff, his teenage stuff, and his adult stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
I like it all.
Okay, so my daughter is going to be very pleased to hear that because she loves everything Jackson 5, Michael Jackson.
There we go.
Literally, we just left the record exchange because she likes to go on there and see what Michael Jackson they have. So,
there we go.
So now you might become her new favorite. So there you go.
Nice.
So with that in mind, if your coaching style had a soundtrack, what would it be?
Like what tunes?
Yeah.
A soundtrack. That's a great question.
I know. I do some good ones.
I would probably have a mix of MJ, of course, Stevie Wonder, Stylistics,
Jeez.
Parliament, Funkadelic, Aerosmith.
I like that.
Wu-Tang.
Gotta have Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang. Sorry. Shout out to RZA.
I know that's right.
And probably some Biggie Smalls. I'll be good right there.
My goodness. Okay, so based on
Whitney Houston. Sorry.
Whitney?
She's the GOAT. Gotta put Whitney in there. At least 3 Whitney songs and I'm good.
I know that's right. So what I get off of your coach's style is that you got a little bit of everything in your bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to I like to vibe to pretty much everything. That's good.
That's good.
To me, yeah.
I'm eclectic myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would your players? How would your players currently describe you in one word?
Serious.
Are you serious, dude?
Especially with them.
The look you just gave me that impression. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, especially with them, because their lives aren't a joke, even if they don't realize it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't want unfortunate moments to happen where they're older and then they look back and be like, dang.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not a stiffler, but I am a serious guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for their benefit.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And it's needed.
I think so.
What do you love most about Akron?
The pride people take. Because we don't got a lot there. It's not a lot at Akron. We don't have a lot. But it's just the pride. And the people that come from there are very prideful. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would say. Just the pride. I mean, again, it's not a lot there, I guess, to some people. But for a lot of us, it's home.
Yeah.
And it's home at the end of the day. You can move away. I moved away, and now I'm back in Akron for a while. And it's just home.
It's just home.
Yeah.
That's like the Midwest theme, I feel like. A lot of people, comedians, entertainers, and even some athletes come here and dog Cleveland, Northeast Ohio. Mm-hmm. But we are good, hardworking people, and we are prideful in the work that we do and what we produce. So,
especially the like comedians and celebrities that's from this area, like Dave Chappelle, and you got Mike Epps from Indiana, like
yeah, they Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like they're prideful too. Mm-hmm. So it's just you're right. It's definitely correlate.
I love that. All right, so let's take it back a minute for our listeners that may need to know a little bit more about you. So you were born and raised in Akron, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Akron, Ohio.
What schools did you go to?
I grew up Rankin Elementary School, Rankin School for Technology, West Akron. Then we moved over to another district in Akron. Then I went to Margaret Park Elementary School, where LeBron James also went. He went to Margaret Park.
Really?
Yeah. And both of those schools are no longer there. They got knocked down.
Wow.
Yeah. So from there, I went to Ennis Middle School over in the Kenmore district. And then from there, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary.
Very cool. All right. So you're from a smaller town, but you end up really playing one of the biggest stages in sports, college sports in the country at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Did your dreams did you already start there in your dreams, like as a kid, or did they kind of evolve over time getting you to Ohio State? Like, was that always the goal? Or
now, I can't say Ohio State was the goal, but making it to the college level in NFL was definitely the goal. Mm-hmm. From as long as I can remember, I say a solid 8 years old. Okay. I was like, yeah, I want to play football.
You knew?
I actually told my mom I want to be on TV. That's what it was. More so, I want to be on TV.
Oh.
Not necessarily just football. It was more so, Mom, I want to be on TV.
Did you just want to be seen, or is it just like an entertainment?
Entertainment thing.
Yeah, I've seen some of your moves.
Yeah. And see, I do that for fun. I don't mind.
I love it. You have to have a good time with it.
Definitely.
That's what's up. So in that, you didn't just play football, right? I know you ran some track, right?
Yeah, I ran track growing up. I wrestled growing up. Played baseball.
Wow.
And I played ice hockey in middle school.
Hockey?
Yeah.
What?
Kent State, Tri-County Cyclones, Tri-C Cyclones. I played right wing ice hockey for 3 years.
Little do people know, hockey can really help you with football.
I try to tell people that, but a lot of kids don't really, especially in Northeast Ohio, they're not really on the ice like that.
Nope.
And it's definitely a good experience to make your legs strong. Mm-hmm. You learn what conditioning really is. And it's still physical, and it's a skill set. You got to score, control. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a great sport.
Y'all, Dr. J loves some hockey. I get down with the hockey. I love the Monsters games. I love, what is it? The Toledo Walleye. I go to Toledo Walleye.
Yeah. Yep. I've seen one of their games before. I went up there before.
And they're really cool. They come out in the community and they're teaching kids about hockey and how to get them on the ice and stuff like that.
You ever catch a Blue Jackets game?
not in a non-working capacity. I've always been there playing for the band at Ohio State because I was a band girl. So I was always there for that reason. So I need to catch a Columbus Blue Jay.
Definitely. They're pretty good.
They are? All right. All right. So let's talk about being at OSU. Like, what was that journey like?
It was cool. I mean, coming in as a freshman, we had one of the top 5 recruiting classes coming in that year. So I was excited. Everybody in my class was excited. To name a few of us, it was Chase Ferris, Curtis Grant, Devin Smith, Braxton Miller, Ryan Shazier, Tommy Brown, Ron Tanner, Connor Crowell.
It's a great class.
I know I don't want to leave anybody out. Bryce Haynes, Jeremy Cash, Chris Carter, Antonio Underwood, Michael Bennett, Jeff Hireman, Nick Vanette.
Yeah, y'all were good.
We had a solid class.
Yeah, y'all were, and it was a
Cardell Jones.
Oh, local favorite.
Michael Thomas. So yeah, we had a solid class coming in.
No, y'all did, and it was like magic to watch. I will say that.
Appreciate that.
I'm a little bit older, so I wasn't at Ohio State at that time, but it was nice to watch.
Yeah. Y'all had some fun too, y'all years.
A couple, yeah, we had a little bit going on. We never lost to Michigan while I was in school. Nah, just saying.
I don't count that freshman year.
I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah.
But so tell me, okay. So now you kind of named off like some of the people that you were with, like, and a lot of times people, especially from Ohio State, talk about the brotherhood.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the brotherhood and what that's done for you.
It's amazing, and it's just crazy how everybody instantly get it, especially after you genuinely go through the process, go to class, graduate, be a part of the team.
Yeah.
And then, you look back and you contact people and it's like nothing changed. Even if you haven't talked in a while, it's like you go right back to how you guys were during that time, and which was nothing but full of energy and hope.
Yep.
For the future. So it's like you talking to people, it's like that same energy. And it's great. Like even the past few years, like Zach Bourne and Jacoby Bourne, who I played with from 2011 all the way until I graduated, 2 brothers. They've been taking the lead and emailing everybody for different events and reunions these past few years, keeping everybody together. And that's been beautiful, and it's always good conversation to see them and everybody. So
I love it. It's special. It's really special to see and be around, to look at it. It really is a brotherhood. Like, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and it's a sisterhood for sure.
Definitely. And
I really look at what y'all have going on at Ohio State as a brotherhood, very fraternal in nature. I love it. I love to see it. And y'all are still doing really great things in the community.
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah, Curtis, he just have an opening.
He just opened his juice store. So Pure Green.
Pure Green.
Yep. Pure Green. It's right there on High Street. I think by 8th and High, right across from 8th and High. But definitely check that out. Former national champ Buckeye, and they're doing great. They had a great opening too.
You ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to be up in there. I'm actually going to Columbus tomorrow, so I'm going to go ahead and slide through there and get me some juice, because I juice.
Check. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, Cuzzo will be there. Kayla Grant, his wife, will be working there, I think. So say hello to her.
I will. And y'all heard that shout out. So get y'all juices if y'all in the Columbus area, if y'all go to Columbus.
Pure Green Juice on High Street.
Pure Green Juice. All right, so we were leaving Ohio State. You said that your goal was to get to the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you get to the NFL. How'd that feel?
It felt great. Yeah, it felt great. And I'm gonna be honest, it didn't really hit me until I was in a social setting with some of the players. You know what I mean? That's when it hit me. I'm like, oh, I'm really here with these dudes. Some of the guys I walked into the locker room, they were in the NFL since I was in the 4th, 5th grade. So seeing them is just like,
what?
It did kind of feel surreal.
I'm sure.
Because, you're looking at them as 10 years old. Now you're a full-grown man and you're with them doing what you've always watched them do. It's amazing.
That's
amazing.
I don't even think you can find words to really say that, but I think out of body is probably where I would have went with that. Like, am I here? Like,
Yeah, it's like a dream. It's literally like, oh wow, this is a dream. But it's real life though.
so what did you experience during your time in NFL, like mentally and physically? So some of the things that I talk about on the show, some people don't talk about the mental toll or how you have to keep yourself up physically. I don't know, like what people think in their heads, but they think that you just like you live in regular life and then you just go out there on the field and play, a couple days.
That is literally. I feel like. I mean, granted, I feel like the last 10 years, social media has helped that a little bit to the common eye, but definitely. I felt like that was how people thought. Like, even with football, like, oh, you got a little football game. It's like,
no.
It's a little more than that. But definitely, it's crazy how stuff has evolved and changed, though. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah. There's a lot of ebb and flow in playing a professional sport. There's a lot of highs and lows to it. And I'm glad, like you said, social media has kind of illuminated some of that. I have a client that is departing from the sport now and went through like a mental hiatus, if you will. Like his career ended before it needed to because mentally he couldn't reconcile that this sport an activity that I've done my entire life, that I've prepared for my entire life, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yep. It's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to think about. It's literally grief. That's why, he probably had to take that time. It's grief.
Yep.
Like, it's, again, you're investing so much of your time and energy and, and your mind to this situation, this event, this game. And when it's over, it's like, okay, I've been expressing a lot of my time, a lot of my energy for this. It's no longer here. What else? Now it's easy outside in and say, oh, do something else. I mean, look what you've done.
Right.
Take that same, mojo that you got and do something else with it.
Right.
It's not necessarily that simple.
Right.
Because you got to think, when you love something, it's hard not to put your all into it.
Yep.
And when you really see it and feel it and somebody just tell you, oh, do something else. I don't love that like I love this.
Right. There you go.
Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get the same results.
There's a grieving process, and I pray that inside the brotherhood and anywhere else that there's more conversations being had about transitioning out of doing something, for sure. Like, we just need to talk about that more as a generation anyway. I grieved, graduated with my doctorate. People were like, what's wrong with you? Dr. J now. And I'm like, but that took up so much time in my life.
Right.
I aspired to do this thing, and I did it every day. And I was doing this, and then all of a sudden, it's not there anymore. Yep. That thing. And I was like, okay, so now what?
Seriously.
I had to now what,
And it's not now what, like, you can't do anything else. You could probably do really whatever you want.
Correct.
Trust me. That's how it works. But, again, when you feel that and you feel that true, genuine love and you've been there and you invested and you've, did what you had to do, that's where it's tough there.
Yeah.
It's tough there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's life. You got to move forward.
How was your time in the NFL? How would you describe it?
I describe it as average. And I say, got drafted 4th round, practice squad, bounced around on practice squads, activated it once with the Steelers my rookie year. But it was weird because I felt like I played well, and it's not necessarily like a, I got cut situation. It's more so a situation of deep down right here, I know I can do this. Yep. Because I've done it for 3.5 years straight, solid. I've guarded all the top guys except for like Julio during my time, but guarded AB every day in practice with the Steelers. Every single day I had to guard that man in 2015, where he had his best season receiving-wise.
Thanks.
So I ain't saying I had nothing to do with that. Trust me, I ain't saying that, but just know that the pressure I had to go against on a daily basis that season,
it's part of the process.
He was definitely focused. He made me focus. But it was pretty cool. Then again, going against Odell Beckham Jr. I was with the Giants a little bit. Again, just going Mike Evans against when we had joint practices, picking off Tom Brady. when he was with the Patriots, when I was with the Jags and the joint practice. You know, see what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
different experiences like that. Picking off Ryan Fitzpatrick. I picked off Big Ben in practice. Like, those type of feels, you
Yep.
know, it keeps me confident, even though, of course, you're not on the field doing all this stuff.
Right.
You know, even when I was with the Bears, I was the highest rated defensive back in the preseason per, what's that, PFF, the rankings they do. And still they end up releasing me after that. So,
See, and I feel like
Yeah.
to go back to like track and field, I don't know, that's my love. It's an illusion sometimes, right? I ran against an Olympian. She went on to be a multi-medaling Olympian. Lost every time. But I also ran my best times
right.
against her.
Exactly.
My best.
Yep. And that competition, that greatness, it pulls it out of you.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. Now, did it feel good? What it looked like on the track when I lost to her?
Right.
No. But at the same time, I PR'd and I advanced to other rounds of what was happening here in the state and the region as a result of me trying, right? So I feel like there's an illusion there, right? Like, no, I'm not on the field, but I know
I can do that if I have to.
there you go.
And that's literally what the practice squad is. And, you know, if you listen to some of these other, like, podcasts and hear some of these guys, big name guys, big money guys, you know, speak. Like, I think I heard, what's the kid's name from Houston? The Texans, Stingley. The defensive back, Stingley, like, he was on the podcast talking about how, like, what people don't talk about is the practice squad player. Like, these dudes, like, you got to deal with them. Like, you practice all through the week ain't sweet. Like, you might get embarrassed if you
Correct.
if you think. And
Correct.
you know, and when I watched that and I saw that, I was like, yep, because that used to be me. I'm telling you. And people around who was on the teams and stuff, they know.
I was
They know.
recently at this fall, we were at a practice with a team locally that was going up against a team that wins every game.
Right.
And they were at practice and they was hanging their heads, and the coach had brought in some reinforcements to speak to them, former NFL player, and he was basically saying, like, just because you out here practicing, like, this is where it matters right now. Like, there's a mentality that comes out of here in practice, being the practice squad, you know, like the practice squad that's going up against the people that are about to go into battle. And so, like, I love what you were just saying about that. So with that being said, talk about, like, the challenges and unexpected lessons that you found in the NFL.
Unexpected lessons. I'll tell you one unexpected lesson. Sitting at your locker talking to one of your teammates, going to the bathroom, coming back, and they got cut and they ain't there no more.
Wait, what?
That's an unexpected lesson. Yeah, that's the life of the NFL for most people. Like,
not
if
for
you're
long.
like, not for long. Like, if you're not one of those highly paid, and let me rephrase it, really, because it's really this highly invested in
That's good.
players. You know what I mean?
That's
Because that's really what keeps those certain guys in the league.
That's true.
And that's the truth of it. And I mean, people starting to find
Figure
that
that
out. You're right, like now, you see what I'm saying? And know that. But, you know, I just wasn't one of those higher paid guys. So, you know, less chances. More chances for higher drafted, more invested. So
It's also a marketing thing.
definitely.
Now, that's something that I've learned. I've been around sports my entire life, my family, and just growing up. I noticed those that have really good marketing, good team,
Right.
the investment from other entities and things like that. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely great marketing. Marketing is key.
Man. So when did you realize that football would eventually be a platform for something bigger?
A platform? I guess I never really thought about that. Honestly, I haven't thought about that until I say halfway, right after my sophomore year at Ohio State.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Because it's like now I'm getting a little older, about to be 21, and it's like I'm starting to be a little bit more aware of more adult life and things happening post school, and kind of forming what I wanted to do. It's kind of funny you asked that. I was actually looking through my emails, and 2013 email popped up from when I was in school. Literally my junior season, it was asking like name 4 things you would love to do post-college. And I won away.
Really?
I didn't even realize that because I forgot all about that list. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I'm only 1 away.
Wow.
And I didn't even realize that I said that back then until I looked at it. And then the first one said, go to the NFL.
Okay.
Check. Second one said, coach high school football.
Really?
Yeah, football and track.
Oh, wow.
So I said, check. And the third one, I can't remember the third one right now. I remember the fourth one. I can't remember the third one. But I didn't do it yet. I'm kind of there, but not quite. And the fourth one is start a restaurant with my mother.
Really?
That was the last one.
Moms can cook?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I can cook.
Okay, well, I don't have any evidence nor proof.
Hey.
We're going to have to see a little something.
All right.
Okay.
I can make some mac and cheese.
Y'all heard that. I'm going to get some mac and cheese out of this situation. Okay. Well, that's what's up. So a lot of times, and I've been talking to a few different athletes on the show, college has kind of been that spot where you're like, hey, something bigger is happening here. So now you're coaching, because that was one of your checks. Out of school with deep tradition.
Right.
What brought you back?
The state of the program, to be honest.
Okay.
The state of the program just wasn't what I was used to, what I known it to be, and what I played in, and quite frankly, what I helped jumpstart. You know, it just wasn't that. It's not that. Last year, my first season, it wasn't that. To be honest, we were 1-9. You know, it was a tough season. You know, kids trying to figure things out, coaches trying to figure things out. We had kids leaving, during the middle of the season. We had kids wanting to come to our school in the middle of the season, which you can't do. But,
Right.
You know, and it's just like, hey, we get together, we build this program the right way, because I'm only going to do it the right way, or I'm not doing it. And we're going to be successful moving forward.
It takes time. It's a process.
Definitely. It's a turnover.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a turnover. Typically 3 to 4 years to get a full change in culture and program in anything, any model, really. So.
Well, this is not your first rodeo.
No. And that's another thing. Like, you know, during this journey has been brief but very interesting, because I started coaching in Pig North in Columbus, Ohio. Defensive back coach, coaching the corners, and so far, I mean, I got about 3 or 4 kids who I had down there who's Division I offered or heading to a Division I program, and then have to leave that situation when all those kids who really, really, you know, really love your coaching. Yeah. And at the time are really, really showing your coaching on the field. Yeah. And it's doing well and it's helping their lives. You know, that's hard to leave. And
yes,
it was a sad situation when I left. They didn't want me to leave. You know, they couldn't believe it. And when I left, joined Elyria Catholic up with Troy Smith and then Chase Ferris in 23 season as a defensive coordinator. So that was a great experience, and where, again, I got several kids now playing at the next level. I got one that's at a Division I program at Youngstown State who walked on.
Very good.
Who's probably going to earn a scholarship. His name is Graydon Rollins.
Let's look out for him.
Yes, Elyria Catholic. He's at Youngstown State. Very good ball player. And he has a shot to go to the NFL, in my opinion.
Okay, so y'all heard it here.
Yeah.
On Impact Play.
Definitely. Graydon Rollins. Check him out.
That's what's up. So that got me something to look at. Like, I'm always looking for some new talent to watch. That's my favorite part, y'all, is to watch them from high school to college to the league. I love it. Or that means I'm getting old, one of the two.
Might could be both. Because I got another kid at, you know, John Carroll. I got Timmy Phillips Jr. He's kind of like great. And to me, I put those 1A, 1B, you could flop them, in my opinion, so far as players that I've had.
Wow.
Personally, to me. They're probably 1A and 1B so far Just their attitude and effort.
Okay, Blue Streaks. I'm an alum.
Had to get them a shout out.
Yeah, well, I'm an alum, so shout out Blue Streaks.
There you go.
That's what's up. So I love that. Okay, so what does it feel like to be leading in the same place that you went or in the same kind of streets that you walk?
I'm gonna be honest. Same thing I said when, first asked that question when I got hired. It's a responsibility. That's the purpose of me coming back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have stayed where I was at or. But it's responsibility. And honestly, who else to do it? Let's be honest. Like, who else really to get that job done?
Yes.
Because I don't think people understand what has to go into it to truly get that back, what it was.
Tell the people.
And I really don't think people understand what has to go into it. And some people aren't really willing to do it.
No, I feel like
I am, because I'm attached.
You are invested in it. You were grown out of it.
Yep.
We're in a day and age right now where people are trying to figure out how to get more with doing less.
Exactly. Definitely. So it's not really popular what I am doing, even who I am and figure and all that. Like, that's not really popular because people like, oh, my name. I'm like, look, my jersey's being retired. My name's fine.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not in it for that.
Right.
Only people. In my mind, if you think about it like that, you in it like that, of course you're gonna get terrible results.
Indeed.
You gotta be in it for the kids and the right thing, which is the community.
Indeed.
So
I don't think people understand that, and I love what you just talked about in terms of responsibility. I came back to Cleveland kicking and screaming. Okay, I loved living in Columbus.
Me too.
I loved other points south, like no winter.
Yep.
Big city, big dreams, big opportunity. But I had this pull. It was like almost like a gravitational pull back to Northeast Ohio because they need our talent. They need people that care about, like, you don't care unless you came from it sometimes. Like, if you didn't get it out the mud, like they're trying to get it out the mud.
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing here? So I came back kicking and screaming, crying too. But it
you
was
got it together though.
I did. It was for that purpose though, because I have responsibility to this area.
That's right.
So I love what you just said about all of that. So let's talk about the young men that you have under your wing right now. So how are you going about building their character?
Just telling them the truth, being honest. That's one. I'm not into selling dreams, and I'm not into being so hopeful that it's fake.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I like to be raw and real because, a lot of these kids are going to need that once they graduate from high school and go on to college and understand that. Look, even when you're talking about studying for an exam, you got to study. You got to take that time. You might have to go to the library for about 4 or 5, 6 hours and do what you got to do. And all this other stuff, social media, your friends, won't matter. Stuff that, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get them to understand that after y'all graduate, y'all have lives to live.
Impacts to make.
Right. You don't have friends to impress.
My 20-year class reunion is this year.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. And my goodness. And my mother's like, you got to go. You got to go.
You do got to go.
Oh, here you go.
You got to go. 20th year, you got to go.
But with that being said, I feel her after I thought about it a little bit. Because there was life to live after high school, and really none of that mattered. So in my mind, I was just like, wow, none of it matters, so why am I going back? But she was like, no, but there's an impact that was made and a story that needs to be told. And I said, okay, got it. All right, Mom, I'm going to go back to my 20-year reunion and kind of tell that story some more, and be present, because we will be going into the school as a collective class during that time. So, people do need to see it, that people have lives outside of high school. None of that stuff that was going on mattered. I was teased. I was also a fighter because I was teased.
So you won a few.
I mean, somebody did or did not call me Tyson a few times, but
I'm good.
you know what? That's smoke.
Right.
But honestly, it was when I look back, I had a teacher who said they're bothering you because they're jealous of you. You have a very bright future. And I think that bothers people that may not know what they're trying to do with themselves. And so from that moment, I was able to leave all the fighting. I was able to leave all those things and realize that none of this stuff really matters right now. And so I needed to have more forward thinking. But if it wasn't really for that teacher kind of sitting me down and was like, you're about to ruin it with your fist in your mouth. You're going to ruin it.
Right.
And shout out to Miss Carter, rest her soul. She passed away. But thank her for sitting me down and telling me they're jealous and none of this really matters. That's happening right now in this moment. You need to be more forward thinking.
Because adults see it. Because they're adults, they know. So when they see it, they just jealous. And it is what it is. And I've had to tell that to a couple of my kids too. It's like, hey, they keep messing with you because they know you're going somewhere. That's why they keep picking with you.
That's it.
You ignore them, then they ain't got nothing to pick at.
Nothing at all. But if you give it the energy. All right. So what are some of the life lessons that you make sure your players walk away with beyond the game?
Some of the life lessons, honesty is always one. Work hard. Stop, like you said earlier, stop trying to take shortcuts. People want instant gratification.
Yeah.
And it's not really gratifying if it's instant. You know what I mean?
Work at it, bro.
Like work at it. Put some energy into it. Put some time. Put some care into it. And it's really about your life. I'm talking about school. I'm talking about at home. Be a good son. Be a good brother. Be a good teammate. Be a good player for your coach. Why not? And I get it. It's influences, but pick the good influences, not the bad ones.
Yeah.
If you can. They always know either this or that.
You said.
It's either this or it's that.
I know that's a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Some do, some don't.
So it sounds like you're deeply involved with being real and telling these kids how it is. Are you in the community any? Like, what are you doing in outside of like what you're doing at St. Vincent St. Mary? Yeah,
well, I do. I actually do some training. I do some football training, and I don't charge a lot. I do charge, but I don't charge a lot, honestly, for a lot of these kids. And they know that. People who's been with me, they all know that. Because, well, okay, let's look at basketball really quick, right?
All right.
A lot of those trainers, a lot of those situations, AAU circuits, shooting coaches, traveling, like it's a lot of cash.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of the places, a lot of kids from the area I'm from, Akron, Ohio, they cannot afford that.
Indeed.
And everybody's not LeBron who just come out with the natural talent. Yeah, LeBron worked at it, but
right.
He ain't had to work at being 6'8", 240. You know what I mean?
Right, I hear you.
And it's like, you know, if I can be where I've been, done what I've done, the knowledge and skill that I have, and provide it to the youth, like you said.
Yeah.
And again, I'll give it to them. I have no problem. And when I train them, they know I train them. Like it's an hour and a half. Sometimes I got to tell the parent I apologize for going over because you're going to get my time and energy.
Right.
I'm not going to waste it BSing. I'm going to give it to you. And hopefully you take that energy and put it on the field.
I like that. I like that a lot. So is it mainly like community driven in the Akron area, or is it outside the Akron area?
Pretty much anywhere in Ohio. Okay. Not anywhere. Anywhere between Columbus and Cleveland. That's pretty much where I train at.
All right, so you might be getting some DMs or what have you now that you don't open up that can of worms a little bit. But what has
they
been?
Come to work.
Well, he said they're coming to work.
Don't play.
So parents understand they're coming to work.
Yes. And I like the parents right there. I don't really like when the parents like drop them off and leave.
Yes.
I want you right there. So one, you know what your kid is getting. You know what your kid is hearing. And you know what your kid is being told what to do. So with worst things worse, if I'm not there, y'all can't get to me for a while.
Yeah.
Record it. You know exactly. You can hear me. You can see it. You know the energy, you know the pace. So it's really no excuse.
And it leads to partnership. Y'all can reinforce what is happening or what you done, taught them. They can reinforce it.
Right. Definitely.
Okay.
They take the knowledge. Now you train. Look, you can mess around and be a parent training kids now.
There you go.
Hey, it depends how you use your life.
So why do you think it's important for you to show up in this space, like kind of imparting your knowledge?
Again, well, one, I mean, frankly, it's what I know. So if it's what and it's not all I know, but again, I've invested so much time and energy into it. This is my passion. So when you have the passion, that's what you like to share and talk about.
Yes.
Catch me on another day, you'll see me talking about the Beatles or documentaries or movies, because I love acting and singing and music too. So
I did not know the acting part.
I love all that.
Oh, we might have to bring him back on and talk about the entertainment part of all this.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, I like music. I'm a music head. So I'm a clarinetist, woodwindist. Picked up the trumpet to go at Ohio State, marching in the band. But I'm eclectic in my music. So any given day, I could be jamming out to rock and roll, to classical, to trap music, to gospel. So it's all good.
No doubt. Like I like the Kinks.
Do you?
I will throw them on and
Okay.
I can't help it.
I love that.
Yeah, I can't help it.
All right. So we're going to have to get you in the community doing something like that with the kids.
I don't mind.
Okay. Now I have something in mind, so I'm going to have to reach out to you on that one.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
So tell me about a story or a moment with one of your young people that brings it full circle, like this is why I do what I do.
That's a great question. That is a great question. This is why I do what I do. Now, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I kind of got like a couple thoughts on that question, though.
Okay.
Because I have one where it's like, I have one that is not there yet.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, I have it right here in my head, but he's not there yet. He's still going. So, I'm interested to see what happens.
In progress.
Exactly. So, I can't really answer that one yet, but he's heading there. But one I can say, it's tough because
I love these questions.
it's tough because it's a couple of them.
See?
It's a couple of them, and it's like, I'm gonna be honest. Tyson Long, Pick North, 2022 season. This is a kid, great athlete. He's on his way to Ohio University. He's gonna be a Bobcat, full ride scholarship, defensive back. But to me, I thought that kid was special. Just instantly when I first met him, my cousin's the offensive coordinator down there with Pick North, Jared Pruitt, along with the head coach, Nate Hillrich. But he was telling me about this kid. He like, man, this kid Tyson Long, we put him on the scout team as a freshman, and he was guarding guys. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see the kid. So he's like, there you go, right there. We're in winter workouts to see the kid jogging. And he's like, yeah, but he's so sold and stuck on quarterback. And I'm like, oh, not okay. So I shook his hand when he came over. I talked to him, put my arm around him. I said, so you gonna play some defensive back? He said, I play quarterback, coach. I said, no, I don't know. Let's try you out. Let's see. Little did he know I was gonna start him anyway.
Okay.
I just know what it looked like. I know athletes. And I just saw him jog, and I'm like,
you got an eye for it.
It's one of my starting corners. And the season went on, had a pretty solid year. Not the greatest year, but pretty solid. Second year had a really, really great year. Then this past senior year, he was very, very solid and earned scholarships. Yeah, I think he earned over about 10, 12 Division I scholarships. And now he's on campus now. He moved in, I think, yesterday.
Aww.
So, that one is like,
aww,
it feels good. Because, teaching him how to play corner. The athleticism, he had it. The speed, the want to be, he had all of that.
Yeah.
And most kids do.
Yes.
It's the tentative structure that he took with him to make it to that level is what I love to see. That was nice.
And then also just the mental shift.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be the quarterback. And I learned football from the defensive lens, so I watched football defensively. My dad was a DB, and so I can't.
That's right.
Defense wins games. It's just
championships.
So
I mean, them rings, baby.
There you go. So let's look out for him. So that's what I be doing. I love to hear about the local talent in Ohio and like following them and seeing what happens with them. But that's why you do what you do.
Definitely.
Is to see the process come.
Definitely.
Through.
And it's and I'm gonna be honest, and it's interesting because every kid you encounter is not gonna fully you know what I'm saying? And it's like that's the one part I had to learn too, is like, but am I still impactful? That's the question.
Of course.
You know?
I have so I used to work in Cleveland Metropolitan School District as a career coach and probably a number of other things, other duties as assigned, as you can say. And sometimes I had to understand that the vision that I had in my mind for where I wanted them to go with something might not be what happens, but our impact is still really great. Unfortunately, I had a young man who I got him to college. That was where I needed him to go. Like, we were going to get you to college. He was one of the brightest I had, but he was caught up in the street life. And I promised his mom, I'm going to get him out of here. I'm going to get him out of here. We got him out of there. He goes somewhere, creates a crime. He's in jail for 30 years. And I'm like, did I fail? Right?
Well, let me ask you this question. You're saying that. How do you think his mother felt?
My goodness.
You see what I'm saying?
My goodness.
And no, you didn't fail. You did what you were supposed to do. And this is the honest truth sometimes, and I can say this from being an athlete, or really just, I think anybody can say this once they come to the conclusion. He failed.
My goodness.
You know what I mean? And not you, not his mother. At the end of the day,
he made that decision.
Yep.
So, backstory, I was very upset. I was down in the state that I had sent him to college, and he created this crime, and everyone was like, are you going to go visit him? And I was like, I'm too angry to go visit him at this particular time. But I finally got up to, writing him and saying, like, what, this is not what we discussed. You know what I'm saying?
Like, get that off. Like, hold on now. I know you're in a situation, but
what we doing?
What you doing?
But he wrote back to me and explained to me the impact that I had on his life and what he's doing in there. And yes, I messed. This was me. And this is the impact that you had on me. And when I come up out of here, and while I'm in here, this is what I'm going to do. So, like, it was, like, not the future that I envisioned for him. But the impact was definitely still there.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. That impact with you visiting him might get him through that.
And just continue support. His mom has since passed. And so he missed that. And, so like there's just, it's so, when we're working with youth, there's so many different factors that come into play. And so like when they say, oh, Coach Doran Grant, like you're doing more than coaching. Let's be clear.
Put it like this. I'm doing... Coaching is the last thing on my objectives as a coach.
Seriously,
that is literally the last thing.
And in an urban setting at that, like people don't think about where you're at and what type of student you may have. But
I got a good mix.
You got a
really good
But even
mix.
if there's a good mix, you're dealing with youth.
Definitely.
And Maslow's hierarchy of needs come into play. I don't mean to get all deep for the listeners, but like there's certain levels that have to be met before you can even get them to where you need to be to coach them up for the
before
sport.
you can talk about a defensive coverage.
Yeah, you go.
I got to get him to. That's a fact. That's a fact.
You talked about the responsibility and why you decided to come back, right? You were unhappy with what you saw.
Very unhappy. I was unhappy with my first season.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
But I kind of knew that's where it was headed, though, when I took the job.
It's to be expected
Right.
a little bit. So what do you think athletes that you have under your wing, the coaches, yourself, what do y'all have to do to rebuild trust in that program?
Give full effort. Give full attention to those kids and to each other. You know, I've already talked to my coaches. I'm like, look, you know, this is a serious thing. They know. And, you know, if I have to make changes, I will. They know that.
Yes.
Because, again, this is responsibility. And if you're not, and quite frankly, if you're not on the same time I'm on, it ain't happening. You might be dismissed.
You might have to get to stepping.
No, seriously. And I will find, because right now I have a great group, but it will be the best group to move forward as a coaching staff. And that's just where I'm set on it. That's where my heart is on it. And that's what I know is what it's going to take. So as long as everybody's bought in and going, you know,
yes,
full metal jacket for these kids, I mean, I can't expect anything else. I can't, you know, I'm good.
So that mentorship is at the middle.
Oh,
at the center of what y'all need to do to rebuild trust in the program and getting even like resources, like even resources or even community support. Is the youth being at the center of it all.
Definitely.
Okay.
Getting them exposed to it too. Let them be out in the community, you know. How about, you know what I'm saying, like let them start understanding what life is going to be like after you leave your parents' house.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? It's going to be different.
Do y'all do like community service projects with your team?
We've done some in the past. We'll probably do a couple this summer before the season actually starts. I would like to do something in the community with some younger youth kids. Like, again, today we had our youth camp for our high school youth camp, and then for the youth high school kids, we're running the youth camp. Tomorrow's our last day. The Nike camp, they like to help out with that as well. But yeah, I like to try to expose them to as much as possible. Okay. As much as I can. The time gives me.
So mentorship clearly means a lot to you, like in being real and giving them the real nuggets of life, like being honest. I used to be like that all the time at the college I was at. I went through all the tissue in the department because they were like, everybody always crying in your office, Dr. J. Well, that's telling the truth. But honestly, they needed it. They needed the truth. So as you've lived mentorship as a player, you've received it, now you're giving it back out, you're modeling that as a coach. What message do you have to young athletes? This is a different day and age.
Yeah, I know. That's why I want to be careful. There is no instant gratification. That's not a thing.
That's good.
Instant gratification isn't a real thing unless you try to make it a real thing, and then it won't be gratifying.
No.
So
I like that.
Forget instant gratification. Take the hard route. Do the hard stuff. Now, you working smart, you know, that's one thing. You can work smart.
Of course.
Over working harder in that sense. But don't try to take shortcuts.
Yeah.
It won't happen for you. It just won't. You can be this close, but that shortcut that you took 3 steps back is going to hold you back. Remember that part. That's what I'll say.
That's good. Because honestly, I feel like the real lessons are in the detours. Nothing about my career path has been linear. Like nothing was like a straight path. Everything. I feel like I'm always going around somewhere, but it was the around part that I learned the lessons. That's where I became a savage, to be honest, in the hard times.
It makes sense.
So
no, it makes sense.
But now we're in a situation where you don't want to feel the hard times. I have a young man right now who, he played football, and he's like, I'm afraid to fail. So he doesn't even put himself in the situation to fail. I was like, well, that's what you learn is...
They don't realize that, though.
I don't want to feel that. They don't even want to feel that. I'm like, but emotions last about 90 seconds if you let them come and go.
It's temporary. You'll be all right.
Like, feel it.
Really?
And then get to so now what? You can't get to the so now what?
Exactly. Because that's what matters, the now what. The feeling is that, I like to say, and I had to say this to myself after I had some situations. I'm like, you know what? That feeling, don't use it as an excuse.
There you go.
Because that's instantly an excuse.
Yep.
Man, I just can't. It's an excuse. You can still feel it and move forward.
This is true.
But some people just don't.
Mm-hmm.
They use it as an excuse.
My daughter saw me give a keynote speech, and she was like, well, Mommy, are you nervous? I said, yep. I said, actually, I'm going to go use the bathroom because I always get nervous and use the bathroom, do all these things. And she was just like, but you're going to do it anyway, right? And I was like, yeah, just because I feel fear doesn't mean I'm going to let that feeling stop me from what I have ahead of me.
That's right.
And so she just looked at me like, okay. And so she came back from school. She had a poetry tea. She's like, Mommy, I was nervous. I even went to the bathroom, too. I was like, okay, Phoenix. She was like, but I did it anyway.
Right.
Even though I was scared. I did it anyway. And I was like, oh.
Way to model that, Mom.
I was like, okay.
There you go.
I was like, 3 snaps for my baby.
Yeah, because imagine if you would have went the other way.
And then she would have learned the other.
The other way.
Yes.
So that's what I said, above the line, below the line. Mm-hmm. We learned a lot of that from Urban.
Urban Meyer, shout out.
Above the line and below the line.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I never thought about that.
Yes.
I gotta be honest, I've never thought about it. Just say like, oh, what is my legacy? It's too much work to be thinking about that. It's too much work to be done to be thinking about legacies. I'll let other people tell that tale.
Let them tell what the legacy was.
I mean, let's be honest, other people tell other people's legacies, not the person.
There you
go. Look at Michael Jordan. He don't talk about himself. Look at whoever.
Yeah.
They don't.
It's us.
Wayne Gretzky, whoever it is. Mm-hmm. Whoever, like, nobody. Mm-hmm. Like, think about it. We had debates about who's the best basketball player ever. Who's the greatest rapper, who's the top 5 rapper of all times, and who's the best rock and roll group ever. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
People judge others.
That. Mm-hmm. So
that person doesn't judge themselves.
So you want people to judge?
I don't mind.
Okay.
They're gonna do it anyway.
This is facts.
Everybody will be by other people. So
this is facts for sure.
Whatever it is at the end, I'm pretty sure I'll be content. How about that?
Let's look at okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure I'll be content.
Where do you see your impact being in the next few years? Like, what do you hope to grow?
Obviously the community where I'm at in Akron, but the kids I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, my players, not just the players, the kids. I'm in the building at St. V as well. Right. Those kids every day. Mm-hmm. If I can just give them something selfishly, I ain't gonna lie, selfishly, I want them to have something from me that they can pull out of their toolbox.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They tool belt in 10, 15, 20 years and be like, Coach Grant.
There you go.
That's what I want.
I like that.
To be honest. That part right there.
For you to have given them some tools to life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any new initiatives coming up that you're excited about? Outside of the season.
Like the season? Football. I love football.
I know. I can tell.
I'm sorry, I do. But
you have some camps coming up.
Yeah. Nike Camp July 7th. Mm-hmm. 7th, 8th, and 9th at St. Vincent St. Mary. We got our youth camp happening now. Paris Campbell's 2nd annual football camp will be held at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. Okay. June 20th. I want to say 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. So try to register.
Yes.
Get the link to that. Look at my bio on
Instagram.
Look at Paris Campbell's bio. Paris Campbell on Instagram. Sign up. Fill out the waiver form.
Yes, please.
Please fill out the waiver form.
Is it a free camp or is it
It's a free camp.
Oh, wow.
All you gotta do is show up and register.
Wow. Okay. Fill it out, y'all.
Fill it out.
Okay. So where do you want listeners, how can they support you and what you're doing? Because that's what, ultimately, this platform is to get people knowing like where you at, what you're doing, and how they can support you.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram and X, Akron's VO _21. So AKRONSVO _21. Right. That's on X and Instagram.
All right.
I post a lot of different I post some content on there for a lot of my team, a lot of my training sessions, and some different things that basically what we talked about today is kind of on there. You can get a snapshot of that.
Awesome. How can they get in contact with you if they want some training?
Oh, same thing.
Okay.
Instagram or Twitter. Just DM me.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, of course. Respectfully, of course.
Respectfully.
I do want to say a little shout out. Shout out to Akron St. Vincent St. Mary High School.
Yes.
Just in general, that place really changed the trajectory of my thoughts, my mind, and possibilities.
Oh, my goodness.
Just being around the environment, different people, networking, understanding that there's more than what you learned, pre St. Vincent St. Mary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get to expand. I love that place.
Oh.
Again, that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
That's why I came back to it. The people there is the reason why I love that place. And I just want to be one of those people and just, help another crop of kids year after year after year.
Indeed. Well, that's why you're getting your jersey retired, Mr. Sir, because you're being there and you're being present. Yeah, you showing up.
Yeah, I try to. I try to. I see a lot of myself in a lot of these kids, so it's hard not to.
Yes.
It's hard not to.
Well, I was in Cleveland Leadership Program, and the person over Cleveland Leadership would say, leaders show up. And so when you talk about responsibility and why you came back and why we're all, leaders show up.
No
whether
doubt.
it's hard, I don't know when it's easy. I've never done it.
I don't think it ever
I don't have no easy.
I'll say this, Mike Tomlin used to always say that. We used to come in the meetings like 50% of it is showing up. You did that.
Wow.
50% of getting the job done is just showing up.
It's showing up and being present. So if you have one thing to say to your athletes in small towns with big dreams, what would that be?
Athletes in small towns with big dreams. Let me see. Your dream is as big as your effort.
My goodness. That's it.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
If your dream is as big as your effort, if you give us any and everything, and some people got to understand this. Giving your all, 100%, missing a day is not 100%, it's 98. Understand that.
Talk about it.
That's real. And whatever it is, not just sports. You're a mom, right?
I am.
You miss a day?
I can't.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one great job, right?
Yep.
So anything else in life, look at it that way. That's what I'll say to them. There are no days off.
None.
I don't care if it's sports, academics,
None.
cooking, whatever you're interested in, politics, engineering. There's no days off. Elon Musk don't take days off. He's an engineer, right? He doesn't take days off.
No, I mean, honestly, there is no days off if you want to continue to make progress.
No.
Now, if you don't want to make progress, you don't want to be great and have these big dreams, by all means.
Exactly. Your dream's only as big as your effort.
I love that. All right, y'all. So that is a wrap on today's episode of Impact Play. I want to thank personally Coach Doran Grant for coming on and talking to us about your journey, your vision, your heart for youth and what you're doing down at St. V's. Shout out to St. Vincent St. Mary's High School, y'all. Let's pour our support into the communities. That's one of the main reasons why I have this platform is for us to be aware of where we need to pour in our support. And I really like that you shouted them out. And I'm going to shout them out again. All the information will be in the notes for this episode. So thank you for being on.
I would like to give one more shout out to Aaron Fate-Needy,
Okay.
the school's principal,
Okay.
and David Vidito, the school's president.
Okay. You
Shout
heard
out
that.
to those two.
You heard that.
And
Because
I
they're
hope
showing
Erin
up.
is enjoying her vacation.
I know that's right. Let's get this summer one. But no, that's important because
She
these are
deserves
leaders.
it.
These are
Trust me.
leaders that show up.
Yeah, she deserves it.
I love that.
Definitely.
Well, honestly, until next time, we're going to continue to make plays that matter in the community. And I can't wait to get back with you all soon.